Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. For those of you that are joining me live, and for those of you that are going to listen or watch this episode later, thank you for being with me and all your support and love. Today, I wanted to talk about forgiveness and why that is so important in the healing work that you do. Um, just to talk about forgiveness, forgiveness happens in layers, and be patient and acknowledge that you do go through it in layers. And what that means is a lot of time I've had people say, well, I've forgiven so and so, but then yet it still comes up. So, and that's what I'm talking about. It has to be done in layers, depending on what has happened, what has taken place. The work you do around forgiveness needs to be done, not always, but in some cases, it will go in layers. So be easy and patient with yourself. And also, forgiveness, there's a self-forgiveness and there's forgiveness of others in your life. And the self-forgiveness, as you probably know, is the hardest part. And when you work on forgiveness, remind yourself that when you're forgiving someone, it's not that you're saying what they have done or said, whatever the case may be, that they were just for doing what they did, or you're taking something away from yourself or from them. You are forgiving them, not that their actions were correct, but you're forgiving them to lose the heaviness that you've been carrying. Depending what has happened between you and that individual or group of people, when we carry that anger, the hurt, the pain, the blame, the injustice, the whatever the case again may be, as far as the emotions that go along with it, because somebody or some group of people have done something and that has caused you pain, and you carry that pain with you and that hurt with you, the injustice, not fair. It's like hooking a line between yourself and that individual or that group or that event. And that line ties you to that event or that person for what has happened. You are forgiving to let go of those cords and ties and bounds that you have put around yourself. Again, it's not to make the other person or group correct, but just so you are not carrying the heaviness of it, and you are not carrying that with you. And again, the layers part comes that if, let's say, it's been something that has happened over the years, and maybe it's still continuing, that, let's call it the cord or the rope that you've tied yourself with, has different strings in it. And each time you're forgiving, you're letting go of a layer, if it's a big rope or a big chain or a big cord. So be gentle, be easy with yourself. And if it's something big that you're forgiving, remind yourself that it takes time for it to go. Now, self-forgiveness is the part that when you've carried all these things for so long, you're sort of also blaming yourself for allowing those things to happen to you, participating in those events and those dramas or those traumas that caused you pain. And self-forgiveness is almost all the time I found hardest with everyone. And even in that, there's a layer. If there's this, let's say, big chest of blame that you're carrying, you're blaming yourself for all those things. Each time you're forgiving, you're taking a portion of it out. And even with that, be gentle, be easy with yourself, and remind yourself forgiveness, whether you're forgiving others or you're forgiving yourself, is an act of self-love. And why it is self-love is because each time you're letting go of those, pointing the finger at yourself or blaming yourself for things that have happened, you are loving yourself more. You're getting closer to loving yourself. So practicing forgiveness and self-forgiveness in particular, it's an act of self-love and getting closer to yourself. The other part that makes forgiveness very important in terms of what's happening bigger than you is that you are letting go of the past as well. When you're forgiving someone, you're forgiving an event, and that forgiving the past works in generational and societal healing, which becomes one of the most important things, one of the important parts of the healing practice, because when you start down the journey of healing, you're not only looking to heal yourself, but also you are healing things generationally and for the society. And that's the only way that we're going to heal in this lifetime, the world we live in, and heal from all the things that has happened in the past that has been carried forward. When you think about race issues, gender issues, class issues, the struggles that has been carried forward, it's a big part of that is not being able to forgive the past, whether it's forgiving yourself or the individuals or the group of people. So if you are on a healing journey, on the healing path, I urge you to spend a good amount of time forgiving things, forgiving events, forgiving people, forgiving yourself. And as you're doing that, look to forgiving the generational cord that has passed down to you. And by you clearing that out, you're also clearing things for society as well. And the best way to go about forgiveness, now that we say why, the importance of it and how we go about it now. When you want to forgive, a lot of times for my clients, I have to sort of take small steps depending on what has happened. Especially if there's a big trauma there, it does need to happen in steps. So it's sort of first getting ready for forgiveness as well. And the way you do that is acknowledging and just being present for whatever hurt and pain for that an event or an individual has caused. Um, and you can first either go with the emotion that you were feeling and go find the connection to the person, place, or the event, or if it's easier to see the person and find the emotions that go along with that um, person or the actions of that person. So as you're seeing that, finding that hurt and pain, blame, anger, again, the injustice, first step is acknowledge it, accept it, and be present for it. And remind yourself you're not, by being present for it, by acknowledging it, we're not trying to go into the blame for the other person or saying they're okay. Is just being present and seeing it, accepting it, and acknowledging it. Once you've spent some time in that space of acknowledgement and acceptance and seeing it all, seeing all the emotions that's tied to, then the next step is getting yourself ready for forgiveness. And that's by moving into and even saying to yourself, I am ready to forgive. If that doesn't feel good yet, and you say, okay, I'm acknowledging it, but I'm not fully ready to forgive, even say I'm ready. So the step in between is that I'm getting ready to forgive. And you might even have to spend a week or more in this space. I'm getting ready to forgive the past. I'm getting ready to forgive whoever this person is. I'm getting ready to forgive myself. And repeating that, staying with that for however long it takes, at one point, you can feel the shift that you are ready. And at that point, then the forgiveness work begins. And you can either repeat to yourself, either with their name or um, seeing the person saying, I forgive you. But you can even go deeper into what you're forgiving them for, and staying with it for a day or in that moment. If you're ready, just do it all and sort of give it all back and forgive yourself and forgive them. If after you've said, I'm beginning to be ready, I'm not there yet, but I'm beginning to get ready to forgive. And then now you're ready, but not even quite yet to get rid of it all, then see which portions of what has taken, what has inspired, what has happened, what portions of that are you ready to forgive and give away and release. So just to capture that again, spend some time acknowledging, accepting, and staying present for seeing what has happened between you and the individual, the group, whatever the case may be, or even yourself. And after you spend some time in that space of acknowledgement, acceptance, and being present for it, then you're going to go into, I am beginning to get ready to forgive. I'm beginning to be ready to forgive the past. I'm beginning to be ready to forgive this person or this group. I'm beginning to get ready to forgive myself. And I'll let you find the words that feel comfortable, but that beginning lets you get ready to take the steps that are necessary. Then the next step after that is, if it's something that you can fully forgive and let go, then just sit with it. Say it as if you're saying an affirmation or mantra. See the person and see all those things that you're forgiving them for. And if not, you can break it down into portions and each time forgive bits and pieces of it, whether again it's for yourself or for others. And the step after that forgiveness is releasing them, releasing the past with love and gratitude, and sort of saying goodbye to it. That's the last portion, to spend time saying goodbye and releasing it with love and gratitude. So this last step can be done at the same time. I usually do it. Again, you have to see what you're ready for, but if you're ready even for that last part, you can do it at the same time as you are forgiving things, and you're saying with love and gratitude you're forgiving and releasing the past or the individual and yourself. Same thing for yourself. And part of this is when you're forgiving that individual and yourself, it has that ripple effect for generations back for that person and also generations back for you. Um, if there are bigger things that you want to work on forgiving, meaning you're ready to even forgive. Well, the generational society goes hand to hand, but if you're carrying, you feel a lot of blame and anger about whether it's a gender issue, whether it's race issues, or even I know there are issues where in certain parts of the world, if you're from one country versus the other country because of past wars that have happened, there's a lot of resentment and anger. So if you are part of those areas and you would like to start seeing a shift in that part of the world that you live in, or the race, or again, the gender, spend some time. And this is good if you can find a community to do it with together, spending time to forgive. And with that, also, you can do it the same way, beginning to be ready, first accepting, acknowledging what it is that you're trying to forgive, whether it's racial or a part of the country because of the past wars, let's say, whatever has happened. And then accepting it, acknowledging, feeling, seeing what has happened, what are the emotions that's been carrying, and then getting ready and doing it in parts. And if you find a community that you can do that forgiveness work, I encourage you to do it. I'm happy to be a part of it. I've also created a community for people that I'm starting out with so that they can do this. So if you are, yeah, if you have a community as well that you're ready to, I'm sorry, I've just got spam, so was blocking it. So yeah, if you're part of that community, please, you want to create a community for forgiveness. I'm happy to be a part of it. Let me know if I can help with in any way. Um, that's it. Spend some time really with forgiveness and keep reminding yourself, be gentle, be easy with yourself, because that's one of the hardest work that, especially for if you've had a lot of trauma, um, it takes time. And remember, forgiveness, it's an act of self-love and you loving yourself and sending that love out. And one more thing that might help in the forgiveness, as you're forgiving people, is that if you read my chapter in the Creativity Is book, the multi-author book, at the end, I have thanked the villains in my life. And that is because I did a lot of forgiveness for, for myself and for the people that were in my life and that I was carrying things from. But also at some point, um, I realized that in order for me to have gotten to this place, they were important part of my life story of those events. And if you think about movies, it takes a lot of character to play the villain in the story, to play the bad guy, you know. And even like when you're a kid, most kids, they want to play the good guy, the hero, and not the bad guy or the villain. So that's why I was very appreciative of all those people that at some point or another played the bad guy or the villain in my stories, which helped me to see myself better and to give me the tools that I needed and to guide me to this point. So if it helps you look at it that way, I leave that with you as well, because all those people that came into your life, that were sort of the cause for the trauma, or their actions, their words, whether consciously or unconsciously, whatever they did, they were part of your story for a reason. And if it wasn't for them, you wouldn't have gotten the lessons. You wouldn't achieve what you have, and you wouldn't be able to get to the place that you are at this very moment. So I hope that helps you with forgiving, whether it's individuals or groups or whatever it is that you need to forgive. This was sort of a big topic, and I was trying to bring it down. It was a harder topic to talk about. So, if you have any questions, as always, please go ahead and email me or write it in the comments. I'll get back with you. And if there are topics that you like me to talk about or individuals that you like me to interview, please go ahead, email me or write it in the comments or DM me. As always, I'm grateful for your love and support. I thank you. Wish you a wonderful week. Happy 22/22. Lots of twos today. It's a beautiful day. Keep being positive about how you're progressing, positive with yourself. Doesn't mean there's any negative thoughts, but just that seeing yourself, loving yourself, especially today on this special 22/22, loving yourself, that you are doing your best and you are making progress and you are moving, even if it doesn't seem like it at some points in time. Love you all. Thank you. Hope you enjoyed the show. Bye.